Hey, what's happening YouTube? My name's Gray, you're watching Consoletronix, and today, in honour of Saint Harambe, I will be looking at a trilogy of monkey antics on the Super Nintendo starring everyone's favourite former Mario villain, Donkey Kong, in my Donkey Kong Country series review. To many gamers, British developers Rare seem to come from nowhere, producing classic titles for Nintendo one after the other like a bunch of software deities from the planet video game perfection. But ask anyone who owned a ZX Spectrum back in the 1980s and they'll tell you Rare, or Ultimate Play the Game as they were then known, produced some of the most brilliantly original and technically impressive games of the day. And after spending some time cutting their teeth on the 8-bit NES with titles like Battletoads and Snake Rattle and Roll, Rare showed their real credentials with Donkey Kong Country, that despite its late showing on SNES at the end of 1994, still managed to turn heads and convince many Super Nintendo owners to hold off from abandoning the 16-bit console, with the 32-bit era dawning. With Nintendo seemingly in no rush to join the 32-bit slugfest between Sega's Saturn and Sony's PlayStation, the aging Super Nintendo was to prove it wasn't ready to be put out to pasture just yet. Some big releases would mean the humble SNES was still a player in the increasingly high-stakes world of video games, and in 1995, almost a year to the day of the release of the first game, Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Kong Quest would hit stores in time for the Christmas rush, featuring improvements in almost every department from graphics to music, so most people didn't even notice the absence of Donkey Kong himself. DK2 cemented Rare's name in the hearts of a generation of gamers. I'm really beginning to wonder if Rare ever really wanted the Donkey Kong license, because Nintendo's original princess-stealing barrel chucker is again absent from proceedings. Now let me just come out and say it. Donkey Kong Country 3 is one very impressive game. The trademark CG graphics of the series are once again pushing the poor Super Nintendo to its very limit. And of course what matters most, the gameplay, is so sharp you could shave with it. But why is it then that I prefer the second game, when the only criticism I have of Part 3 is probably its difficulty? But that's a charge that can be made against all of the games. I think the reason why many, myself included, didn't take to the third game as we hoped was it's rarely ever a case of third time lucky. But whichever is your favourite, the Donkey Kong series on the SNES is, was and always will be one of the greatest in gaming. So folks, this has been my Donkey Kong Country series review on the Super Nintendo. I do hope you enjoyed it. Next time out, I will be casting my gaze over a popular series from the wrong side of the gaming tracks, as I'll be wading knee-deep in the Commodore 64 mire. Be sure to check it out. So folks, my name is Gray, this has been Consoletronix, thanks for watching, and goodbye.